Yo, 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 what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Let's let the numbers build up. Been a while since we've actually done this. I think the last episode I did was O'Shea, back when lockdown first started. So yeah, people have been asking when's this coming back. Is the audio all right? Is the sound clear as well? Let me know. But yeah, it's good that we finally got the podcast going again, man, talking to some of my favourite battlers. And it was only right we kick off. So I'm not saying season 2, but we kick off the series again with the Anarchy champion, Bizzo going for the UK title as well at Apex. So let a few of you build up and then we'll get going. Bloodstraw's going to be joining us as well. If it's your first time here, hopefully it's not your first time because you're probably thinking, who's this fat guy with a scruffy ginger beard talking shit on my computer? Make sure you click subscribe, drop us a like, leave a comment. This is the first time we've done the podcast where we're going to be engaging with people as well. Usually it's just me on Zoom talking with everyone that's involved. So if you've got any questions for Bizzo, throw them in the chat and I'll make sure we get to a certain point where we ask him, anything that's going on and things that you want to know that people have never talked about or touched on, and we'll get it going like that. But without further ado, I'm going to bring him in. The Anarchy champion, Bizzo, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing?
All right, lad.
How's things? What should we do? Should we go little square or big square? What are you thinking? How are you feeling?
I preferred little there. I like the little backdrop and saucy that.
Looks alright. I've got my light on. Can you see my light? Look at that.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Like the gates of heaven looking down on you, chap.
Big bang boom, mate. What's this? I'm cold. Oh, I'm warm now. I'm cold again. I'm warm again.
Got a heart of ice, mate.
Oh, I like that one. So let me play with this a bit more.
You don't want to get burnt, though, lad. Burn easy, you.
Sometime with this. We'll just let it build up a little bit, mate, and then we'll get into a couple of questions. But
yeah, man.
One thing I've never done on these podcasts, which I'm going to start doing, is a little icebreaker. So I'm going to fire 3 questions at you, and I need your answer on the spot. No bullshitting about, but I'm going to wait for a minute. Wait till we get to what we're saying. Put a number on it. What we get into? 50, 25, half. I just halved it rapid. Then.
What are we on now? I can't see how many we've got in.
It's flying up at a minute. We're on 19.
Ooh.
If we go with 25.
Yeah, let's go with 20. Let's go with 25. There's only so much small talk we can do, isn't there?
Yeah, before we drag it out.
2 hours later, I was looking for one more person to come in.
For anyone that does see it as well, Visual versus Frankie Fraser, first battle we're announcing.
Fire battle, that's a fire battle, man.
Big up Frankie as well for giving Visual a shot, man. Like,
is that the first? Is that the first announcement?
Yeah, we're not announced nothing else on that card. The
card, yeah.
Brixton Jam, yeah. First time back there for. What was the last card there? Probably Short Outs card.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Tony D, Bobby Rex on it.
Oh yeah, Shuffle T Unan as well, wasn't it?
No, that was Sunburn, wasn't it? Was that Sunburn or was that?
I'm not too sure. I'm sure that was Chalked Out, wasn't it?
No, that wasn't short. No, it was Don't Flop, wasn't it? On Shuffle T.
Was it? Yeah, Connor, mate. me graphic designer, mate. I've had to step my game up, Connor, because you're on my case, mate. Like, you're on my ass every time I put something out. But yeah, big up everyone that's locked in as well. Still going up number-wise, but
is that the main event then, or is that just one of the battles?
Nah, it's not the main event. That's
saucy as fuck.
Third on the flyer, I think.
Saucy as fuck, mate.
Big up the Wiretap as well. Didn't realise I had this on. Shouts to Trubs and the Wiretap. Make sure you go subscribe to them.
Shout out everyone in the chat, man. Get some questions in ready for later on.
Definitely. We're going to try and keep these round about an hour. Obviously, we've started at 1:30, but I'll keep it to an hour for when we actually start. But like I say, yeah, bang off comments in there. Let us know what you want us to ask Bizzo. Anything throughout his career. I don't want to make this a... So what got you into battle rap? And what was your first quotable that you ever said? I don't want to do that.
Is that an impression of someone?
Nah. Are you talking about Tom Quinn? You can do Tom. I love Tom. Hi, guys. Joey Bizzo here with episode 4,924. Where is Tom Quinn, by the way, man?
Where is he? He said my style's like an AC/DC guitar solo, which I've rated fully, and then I've not heard from him since. And that was about a year and a half ago.
Is that he might fucking hate AC/DC. So
I reckon he does, man. I won't surprise me.
Right, should we get into it? Let's get into it. We're on 25. We're balling. We're out here. So Bloodstraw's going to be joining us at some point, as always, with Bloodstraw. He is late.
Shock.
Liverpool fans. Come in when they want.
Behave yourself.
Behave
yourself.
Yeah. But this will be available as well. So we're talking shit right now, but obviously this won't be on it, but it will be available on the Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that, like all the other Premier Battles podcast episodes. So if you're interested in watching back on your way to work, if you have to dip out, jump in, grab a cup of tea, but if you're driving, don't grab a cup of tea because it's dangerous.
Nice. Spill it all over your cock, man.
Oh shit, we've been blessed. Are you ready?
Oh no.
Blood Strizzy in the busy.
Oh, here he is.
Oh, yeah.
On uniform on.
How are we?
He looks like a shit Squid Games, doesn't he?
You look like Assassin's Creed.
I'll take the Assassin's Creed one. Not watch Squid Games. I don't even know if that's a.
Need to get into Squid Games, lad. Right. So I'm going to do the intro because obviously for those listening that are not a part of this, we will obviously don't want to hear all this shit. So everyone who is paid attention for the last 8 minutes, just act like you just locked in. You know what I mean? Fuck, is how we do it. You ready? Should we do it? Give me a 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to Premier Battles. This is episode 9 of the podcast. It's been a while since we've done this, but there is no one else I could kick this off better with, in my opinion. Go catch up on the last episodes with the likes of O'Shea, Pamphlet, Sensor. We caught with a lot of UK battle rap veterans. So it's good that we get to jump in this with, I'm not even going to say a bit of new blood because he's been around for a couple of years, but someone who's really started capturing the flame and the fire behind him at the minute. But I'm also, before that, joined by a very special friend of mine. Bloodstraw, how are you? How you doing?
I'm all right, Princess. You
made that really awkward for the audio listeners. Like, there's a big gap there. It's like you're not there or with us.
To be honest, hard to sound not with you anyway, so it's just me.
That is true. But he's on time, and that's the main thing, get it strong. But our guest today, Anarchy champion, his resume, I just went on his verse tracker, and his resume is very, very impressive. I must say that, bro. Your resume is very impressive.
Yeah, man.
You've got a ridiculous resume.
Done a couple of good battles in my time.
One of the only battle rappers to ever come from the city of Preston. Is it a city or a town, Preston? It's a town,
it's a city. It's the last city that was named a city. It's in the Jubilee years with the Queen. So if there's one thing you've learned today,
I feel like Salford
she regrets that. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. She was fucking fuming leaving Preston after calling it a city. Fucking livid, man.
But Bizzo Bondi's in the building. Make some noise.
Hey.
Right, so Bizzo, first thing we're going to do, we've not done this with anyone. I'm going to fire 3 questions at you.
Mate, these might not be these ridiculous. Stroh was talking to me about these on Saturday. They better not be the same ones. Like,
what?
No, they're all battle rap related.
Oh, right, okay, right, that's all right.
Exclusive ones. Are you ready?
Stroh was talking some filth.
Right, here's your first one.
What
is the worst battle you've ever watched live?
Oh, fucking hell. Mate, I've watched a lot of battles, you know.
There's one that's coming to your head right now, though, when you're thinking it, you just think you should have said it or not.
Don't be shy.
Which one?
What's the worst battle you've ever watched live?
I don't know. I've gone blank. I knew
I'll tell you what mine is. Well, it's one of it by far. Tenchu versus Copyright.
Yeah, right. That's a weird choice.
No, mate, there was one point in that battle I turned around to Rowan and I went, "Why the fuck have we bought this?"
Was that at Ministry of Sound? That
Checkpoint 2.
Checkpoint 2, yeah. But I feel like you're deviating from the question here, Bizzo. Quick fire rounds, well gone out of the round.
Mate, it's not very quick, this, is it?
Yeah, this is not very quick at all.
I might need a bit of time. How long have we got?
42 minutes left now, Joe.
Briggsy versus Koj was a fucking shocker, to be fair.
I know, it's terrible that.
I'm going with that one. I'm going with that. Because you shouldn't have kicked off. You were well out of order.
we got 3 rounds out and it was clean. To be fair, I don't even know. I've never watched it back. So, okay. Right, question 2. Would you prefer to make a whole room laugh or a whole room go, ooh?
It's got to be the ooh. All day, mate.
I agree.
All day.
Final one.
How did you write that question down, by the way?
Literally.